Well, here we go. It's the aftermath from getting my project out of the crate. Well, here's some of the parts stashed away for the time being. Well, here's the front spar carry through. Right here is where the flap handle mounts. And it doesn't give me a lot of area for extending this bell crank. I want to extend it as much as possible. It looks like maybe I get another 3/4 of an inch. Preferably I wanted about 1 1/4 inches, but that's not going to allow it, and I don't want to take the time to move these brackets up and change the position of the ratchet. The other issue is with the fuel valve installed, I'm not sure if that handle interferes with the fuel valve mount. Maybe not. Looks like it might be low enough, but I'm going to do a little more research on that. Kind of look at my cub and see how far this flap handle comes down in relation to the floorboards. It's kind of tight here in between this tube, but if I need to, I can always put a little bit bigger wow in the handle itself. So I got a bare fuselage, and I'm looking at whatever I want to do for my mods. I've got my fuselage on my rotisserie for working on it. It's nothing fancy. They're just engine stands that I slightly modified. Gives me enough clearance that I can rotate it about, I don't know, 270 degrees. I can work on the sides, I can work on the bottom, I can work on the top. Anyway, it gives me good access to get down this fuselage and get in and weld what I need to weld, which is in this area here. So this is just a little 3-inch air grinder. I'll get rid of this tube. So by now, I figure you've probably figured out that I'm building a 4-place experimental Super Cub. The fuselage I sourced from Airframes Alaska. The wings are coming from Javron, and there will be many other parts that I'll be sourcing from different places over the next few months. Okay, so I have the area prepped. I'm going to put a tube in here. I'm going to cross diagonal it here, diagonal it down to this point. I'm going to dog leg this, so it's going to have a tube that's coming up this way, up here, into the corner, and then it'll be trussed down through the bottom here. So that's the next step. Start coping tubes. Well, one thing I'm not is a professional TIG welder. I struggle. I try to do good welds, but you know, I don't weld very often, so it usually takes me a little bit to get into the welding. I'm setting up my TIG welder right now. I just have a little V60, 160 in Vertitech. It'll run on either 110 or 220. It's kind of nice because you can take it to the airport with you if you need to. But that's what I use for TIG welding. It only does steel. And I'm constantly using this little magnifier to see what I'm doing. As far as, okay, does it look like what I want? So yeah, I completed the weld around that point. So now I'm going to be welding the tube in here, dog leg, and then I'm going to truss it. Now I still have a bunch of tubes to make, so I'm just now getting going on my tubes. So it's going to take me a little bit. I'm going to turn the camera off until I get my tubes all done, coped. Well, I don't want to tell you how long it took me to weld in this baggage door, but it was a big project for me. It's a real struggle for me when my perfectionistic tendencies come out, and so no matter how good my welds look, they're not good enough. I X'd this off. I added this tube, ran these 2 tubes to kind of give it some structure, did the truss here, added this tube. So I basically kind of copied what Kirk Ellis has done on the other 4 places that he's welded up for this baggage door, and it's going to be pretty nice.
What we did is we started out, the first thing is this cargo door that's on the side here, and of course that's experimental. But anyway, we wanted to get an easier access, you know, into the back. And
so you can see size.
Yeah, and so that.
I finally finished my rear baggage door opening. I've got it completely sheet metaled out. I put tape around it so you can see the size of it. A little bit harder to see without the tape there. Across the top, it's 34.5. On the bottom, it's 33. Up this back side, it's 17, and the front side's 14.5. So anyway, it's got sheet metal all the way around it. Across the top here, I'll have 4 quarter turn fasteners in here. Along the bottom, it'll be on a hinge on this lower point. And then I may or may not have a couple quarter turn fasteners in the front and a couple quarter turn in the back. I'll have to decide that later. But for now, until I get the baggage door built, which I probably won't do that for a few days anyway, I'm going to try to do all the sheet metal work. This upper baggage area goes all the way back to this gingerbread here. I'm going to have this, there's a baggage door here, upper baggage door here, and I'll have this for sleeping bags, pads, light stuff. Then this will have sheet metal going up here, and then sheet metal all the way to the front. And obviously these Super Cubs with the 4-place have huge door openings for getting in and out stuff, which is really nice. Not as nice of a baggage door area as a mall, but the front door is huge compared to a mall. So for ease of loading from the front, way nicer. Ease of loading from the back, not quite as nice, but this is going to work. And I've got my stringers in place so I can see what the lines of the fuselage are going to look like. Stringer in place back here. Sheet metal is here, reinforced. And I think it's done. It's pretty much ready for powder coating. But I think I'll do all the sheet metal work next so that I can have the sheet metal all done. That way when I go to start assembling it, I'm not scratching powder coating. So I got a bunch of work to do now. I'm waiting on sheet metal from Aircraft Spruce. I have a little bit in stock, so I'll probably start. There you go.